Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott and Ernie. It's Tuesday night. We're at the Cowesett Inn. Don't forget to share, like, forward, click, whatever you want to do with the video, because there's important information about the Rhode Island Guitar Group. We're going to hear from Mark and Beverly. Welcome to the Spotlight Series.
Thank you, Scott. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks. And tell us a little bit about your backgrounds.
Sure. I'm a classical guitarist. I've been playing guitar for most of my life, although I started playing electric guitar when my older brother, kind of shoved an electric guitar in my hand when I was about 12 years old, taught me a couple chords so he could play lead. From there, I went and I played folk guitar. And eventually I went to university to study classical guitar. So I have a degree in music education with a concentration in classical guitar. Although I never was able to pursue a career in music education. I ended up in finance, stayed in the Rhode Island area, was in the finance area for a good 30 years, retired in 2016, and now I just devote my days to playing music. And now I'm running the Rhode Island Guitar Guild as the president. So
Great.
it's been a nice ride. And Mark?
Yeah, I'm like Beverly. I have a similar background in folk and rock music, but once I discovered classical guitar, I never turned back. And unlike Beverly, I stayed in the classical guitar profession as a teacher and a performer my whole career. And being a musician, that means I'll never retire. So we're still both very, very involved in music, as you could tell.
Is he a good teacher?
He's a good teacher, although hasn't been my teacher, but he's a wonderful teacher. We do play as a classical guitar duo. We also have a trio with a mandolinist, and Mark also plays mandolin, and we're very much involved with the Providence Mandolin Orchestra, which we'll touch on when we talk about the upcoming events.
So tell us, what is a Rhode Island Guitar Guild?
The Rhode Island Guitar Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and our mission is really to enrich the Rhode Island community through guitar music, through classical guitar. We offer concerts of internationally renowned guitarists that we bring to Rhode Island. Those artists provide workshops and master classes for guitar students in Rhode Island. We also, for our members, we have play parties, which is a fun social way to get together and informally share our music. So we're looking to grow our membership. We're looking to increase our outreach. We have some plans this coming year to do some community-based concerts that we hope to get started this summer. So it's a growing organization, and it's not only open to people that play the guitar. It's for anybody who loves guitar music, classical guitar music. We also, our concerts, we do offer, we do provide a variety of different guitarists that come in, different styles, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about our upcoming events.
I give you a little background on the Guitar Guild itself. When I first started studying classical guitar in the 70s, I studied with Hibbert Perry, who was a famous Providence teacher of guitar and mandolin. And he had formed the Guitar Guild, I think, in the late 50s or the 60s. People who are a generation older than I had studied with Hibbert Perry and were in that Guitar Guild. Now, when Perry died in the 80s, I believe it was, there was no one there to carry on the Guitar Guild per se, and it sort of went dormant until, what was it, 2000?
No, it was 2019. Adam Levin who
He's been on your show.
He's been on your show a few times, who heads the URI guitar program. He had the brilliant idea to, bring back to life the Rhode Island Guitar Guild. So he started it up and brought a number of people together to serve on the board.
Yeah, so we're thrilled to have a guitar guild here in Rhode Island again, focusing on the classical guitar and really all forms of guitar.
And it's not just that you started it. You started it, kept it going through COVID, survived through that, and are flourishing now.
Yes. Through COVID was challenging. I mean, we did a number of events virtually, and it was we did keep it going. We did get in, somewhat of a little bump in membership. We had these virtual concerts that we provided. We had play parties virtually. But it's just wonderful to be beyond that and be able to get together again in person.
So let's talk a little bit about the play party, because I think most people out there are thinking, oh yeah, I remember 3 or 4 kids would show up and no one knew how to play anything. And
that's how we started.
Yeah, I mean, a couple had a guitar, maybe one had a horrible little keyboard, and one guy brought 1 drum. So it's not like that kind of play party. So.
No, it's actually we had one yesterday that was wonderful. It was hosted by one of our members who lives on the east side of Providence, and it was in the afternoon. People showed up. There was probably 15 or so people came. Not everybody performed, but some people did. We had performances by members that had been playing for, a number of years and were quite accomplished. And we also had performances by guitarists that were just starting out, which was wonderful. That it gave guitarists, these beginner guitarists, a very low stressful place to come and show what they've been learning. And we make connections, people meet each other, and sometimes they form little ensembles, and it's really a wonderful opportunity. And you don't have to play. I mean, you can just come and listen and support it. And they're potluck events, so people bring bottles of wine and different snacks, and it is a party atmosphere, but there is the performance component.
It was fun to see the reception that the sort of beginner guitarists got from the group, because everybody's been there. Everybody started at the beginning like, how do I move my fingers? And so the beginners just got a great warm response from the group, and which I think is really heartening if you're just starting in.
And I think it's important as a fan of music. I can see multiple people play the same piece from different genres, and everybody plays it a little different.
Right.
There's their own personality in it, which to me is what makes music.
Right.
Even just reading off the sheet, it's the same exact notes. Not that I would be able to play it, but you and I would, or you two would play, but it's a little different.
Right.
And that's the individualism that I think really makes music great.
That's right. So the play parties, we're hoping to have them on a monthly basis. We have to make sure we have people that are willing to host them, that have a large enough space. Really, we're also looking for other venues around Rhode Island, not necessarily a personal residence, but if there's another venue that maybe we could, come and do it, whether it be a coffee shop or a brewery or some other type of location.
A lot of businesses or restaurants are closed one day of the week.
Right.
Might be interested in having something, or even if it was just maybe even if you're a business out there thinking you'd like to have something for an employee perk and have something out, in the evening for your employees, that might be something that would be really interesting to host.
Yeah, we would love that. So we're looking for, sort of different ways that we can do this. So.
And give people information about how they would join, whether they're a guitarist or just a fan of guitars.
Sure. We have 2 levels of membership. One is for, general membership is $30. Students are at a reduced rate. That's like $15 for students. And the benefits of membership is that you get a 20% discount to the concerts. You also are allowed to come to the play parties. That's one of the big draws. You can join by going to our website, which is rhodeislandguitarguild.org. There's a form there to fill out. Or if you want to come to one of the events, certainly we have the ability to join at that point. And if you do have a membership at the $30, if you attend each one of our concerts during the year, I mean, the savings pays for the membership right
Yeah.
there. So it is beneficial for people to join and become members.
Okay. Let's talk about the classes you teach as well.
Sure. Well, the classes that we have are often we have master classes and workshops that are done by the performers that we bring in. And it's a wonderful opportunity for people to learn from, these masters. For instance, last year we had one of the world's top flamenco guitarists come and perform. And he gave a free workshop to guitarists on flamenco guitar. I mean, it was an incredible opportunity. That was in Bristol, but we have them, different places. We're also putting together, or we plan to put together on our website, a list of local teachers. We currently don't have that, and I think that would be something very beneficial to the community, to have a list of, local teachers with just a little couple sentences about sort of what they offer, what level or style of guitar, and that way it would be a resource for the community if they're looking for instruction.
Nice.
There are many, also the many local institutions, colleges and whatnot, at which you can study the guitar. So we'd like to research those and print those up for people in case they're thinking about a young person might be wanting to get into a music career in guitar. I think that'd be handy.
Yeah, you don't want someone who's received one or thinking about it to be shut off because they don't know where to turn.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about your concerts. We mentioned the upcoming events.
Oh,
Let's
sure.
talk about those.
Sure. So the first concert, I'm going to ask Mark to talk about it. The first one we're having is March 23rd.
Yeah, March 23rd, we're having a guitarist from South Africa whose name is Derek Gripper. He's a classical guitarist, and Derek Gripper became super interested in this South African griot tradition, these South African and any kind of African musicians that are a part of a class that play a harp called the kora. The kora is a 21-stringed harp that sits in your lap and you play it like this. It's an amazing sounding instrument, and with a very sophisticated, beautiful technique. He started imitating these kora masters on his guitar, and eventually got so good at it that he was invited to perform with them in some of their orchestras, and now he's touring with one of the kora masters whose name is, if I pronounce this correctly, Balake Sissoko. And they're going to be performing a concert together on March 23rd at the old Bristol State House in the evening. I think it's 7 o'clock. And that's going to be a fantastic concert. They're both considered masters, and to see them work together, some of the stuff they do is worked out, and some of it is just improvisation where they feed off of each other's ideas. There's a video on YouTube, which perhaps we could see. If you look at Balake Sissoko, Kora, and Derek Gripper, you'll see this.
Let's take a little look at it right now.
Yeah, I think you'll find it fascinating.
So Mark, that looks like one not to miss, but if people did miss that one or aren't available that day, let's talk about your April 19th concert at the Music Mansion.
April 19th at the Music Mansion, we are presenting one of the most highly respected concert guitarists in the world today. His name is Marco Tamayo. He's originally from Cuba. He studied in Europe. He now resides in Austria. He teaches at many of the top schools, like he's teaching in Germany right now. He's won all the international guitar competitions. He's just a masterful guitarist. And to think that we can have him here in Rhode Island, sponsored by Guitar Guild, is really an honor. That's April 19th at the Music Mansion, which is a beautiful little hall on the east side of Providence. The acoustics are fabulous. You'll be sitting pretty close to him because it's a small hall. And this would be a chance to hear one of the master guitarists of today up close and personal.
And that's not all. You have other events going through the summer and the fall.
Well, in June, we have a very interesting event called Pick Meets Bow. So you know the mandolin is a little instrument like the guitar, but much smaller, played with a pick and tuned like a violin. I am, in fact, the classical mandolinist as well as the director of the Providence Mandolin Orchestra. So we put together a project with the string ensembles of Community String Project down in Bristol. And what we're going to do is revive this beautiful klezmer-style concerto called Chagall's Mandolin. It was written by Hankus Netzke of the New England Conservatory, who's a great composer in that klezmer tradition. And he wrote this piece for a solo mandolin accompanied by a string orchestra. Now, over 20 years ago, my mandolin orchestra contacted him and said, we're going to Europe. Could we play this piece? Could we rearrange it for a mandolin orchestra? He said, of course. So we played it in Germany and Luxembourg and France. And we loved the piece. It was just a gorgeous piece. After a couple of years, we dropped it. And it hasn't been revived since. So we thought, this is time to revive this Chagall's mandolin. But let's do it with some string players so we can have the bowed strings meet the pluck string players and have a little encounter of that sort, right? And see what that sounds like. It's never been done before that I know, not around here for sure. So that's going to be the evening of June 8th. We're still looking for a hall that's big enough for our combined forces of 65 people or something like that. But it's going to be an amazing concert. It'll include solo pieces ensemble pieces by the mandolin orchestra by itself, the string students of Community String Project, as well as their guitar ensemble. So it's going to be a big evening of music.
Yeah, and we're calling that Pick Meets Bow, a mandolin and violin encounter.
That's a free event, by the way. Yes. And it will be preceded by a public Meet the Mandolin sort of a workshop that afternoon.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff planned here. We're moving into September here. This fall, we have two brothers from Melbourne, Australia, Ziggy and Miles Johnston. They are phenomenons. They are great players, and they are the first guitar duo ever to receive admission to the Master's Artist Diploma program at Juilliard School of Music, which is where they're presently studying with Sharon Isbin, again, one of the top guitarists in the world, and they're coming up to play for us. And they'll play probably a variety of arrangements like Debussy's Clair de Lune, maybe some Spanish music, Latin American music. even probably some Australian music. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be at URI in their music annex, September 13th.
Well, no, that's it. Well, the concert's at the Music Mansion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the concert's at the Music Mansion.
Oh,
And
okay,
they're
excuse me.
giving a master class.
Oh, that's where.
And the
Wow.
master class will be at URI.
Exactly.
And master classes are fantastic because certain people apply to perform but you can have an audience of people watching this. And so just by watching the master class, you could really pick up a lot of tips.
In October, we have the URI Guitar and Mandolin Festival.
I think some of your listeners may
Yes.
know about that.
They might, yeah.
Through your conversations with Adam Levin, the brilliant and highly energized director of the URI Guitar Festival. He does a fabulous job with this international festival, including all genres of guitar, from classical to fingerstyle, steel string to jazz, whatever. So that's going to be 4 days in October, 16th to 20th. It's an event not to miss if you are at all into the guitar. And they'll have their own website.
Lastly, at the Music Mansion, Drew Henderson.
Drew Henderson, November 22nd, is a brilliant Canadian guitarist who studied in Europe, and he's just has an immaculate style. When he plays, every note has a gorgeous tone, beautifully placed, beautiful intonation. He's sort of a YouTube star. I mean, some of his 50 performances on YouTube have seen over 12 million times.
Wow.
I mean, he's huge on YouTube for a good reason. He is really awesome. So Drew Henderson will be here at the Music Mansion on November 22nd. And you get more information on the Rhode Island Guitar Guild website.
I was just going to say, what's the website again?
It's Rhode Island Guitar Guild .org.
Okay. And people can get information about joining, memberships,
joining,
all your events, other things that you have going on. I'm sure there's lots of links to some of your favorite things out there as well.
Sure. And we're also on Facebook as Rhode Island Guitar Guild. We're also on Instagram, Rhode Island Guitar Guild. So we're, covering the social media basis.
You have to these days.
That's right.
Because you don't know where you're going to pick up a fan or your next member.
Right. That's right.
But that brings us to the idea of our outreach program in Rhode Island. Beverly could talk more about this, but we're playing some community concerts that are pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're looking to give free concerts at libraries throughout Rhode Island. We're targeting, in the 5 different counties of Rhode Island, various libraries that currently don't have any music programs, and provide, programs, concerts where people can come and listen for free. And we're going to call this Up Close with the Classical Guitar, and sort of have an interactive. People can ask questions, come up, see the guitar. We learn a little bit more, and hopefully we could really, develop a love for the classical guitar throughout the state.
And those events are really popular in the libraries because people look at it as, I'm a fan, it's something different I want to see. They're not afraid to go to those, and they could become the new member or fan to, especially if they're going to see an instrument they're not familiar with.
Well, we like presenting the classical guitar to the general public because, well, myself, for example, I was not aware of classical guitar for the first 20 years of my life, even though I was playing steel string guitar and electric guitar.
What was he thinking?
I
don't know. Once I heard some of the great guitarists like Julian Bream or Andre Segovia, I just flipped out, and I just did an about turn and went back and started at the beginning playing classical guitar. Classical guitar is the most intimate instrument because it's the best instrument to play for yourself. First of all, it's small. You can hold it in your lap, unlike a piano. But unlike the flute or the clarinet, you can play more than one note at the same time. So you can play the bass line and the melody and some chords in the middle. It's really like a little piano that you hold and play.
He can. You can. I can't.
But you can learn. We're
learn.
proselytizers. We want everybody to learn to play classical guitar because it's such a beautiful instrument.
Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the Spotlight Series. Looks
pleasure.
like you got a big year ahead of you. I really hope if you're listening out there or watching this, that you should get in contact with these guys, RhodeIslandGuitarGuild.org.
Yes.
And they would love to have you take a look. We'll put the information on the websites and see what you guys have to offer. And bring the classic guitar back to Rhode Island as a mainstay.
Great. Well, thank you
Right.
very much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Wonderful to be here.